Do you see that clip I sent you?
Which, the fucking
I mean,
a classic.
It's a classic bit, but that is an all-time clip. Jesus, I mean, it's so loud. Oh, you know what? For the listeners at home,
Yeah.
we have to just play the clip. And shout out to my brother who sent that to me.
We're gonna end up getting somebody else now. Someone's gonna be listening to the pod on speakers.
Oh yeah. Well, like warning. There's a classic joke coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably a good intro, and then just like go straight to the theme music.
I think so.
Wow, we're getting lazy with these intros.
We didn't even say who's in the clip or anything.
Oh shit! Yeah. So in this clip, it's Douglas Luiz. Is it no?
Felipe Luiz? What's his name?
Sorry. In this clip, it's Felipe Luiz, and he's being unveiled at Flamengo.
Yeah.
Is this recent? Did he just sign for them?
I think so. We talked about him last year, I'm pretty sure, so I don't think he was too far away. Then.
If he has just signed, it ties in perfectly with the episode. If not, it's still a hilarious clip.
Yeah.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense. But listen, I've been on that road before. Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. We are here, as usual, fashionably late with a transfer roundup a couple of days after the windows closed. It was a pretty good deadline day. I mean, I think we talked this before, how it kind of died a death. They kind of jumped the shark a bit. I think when Aubemeyang drove to West Brom to sign, when no one told him to.
You're on top of that, yeah.
Or the dildo in the ear. Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, nothing's topping those two. I think they might have been the same year.
They may have been, but the past couple years have kind of been like, well, I guess it's just bad business. Like,
yeah,
you know,
you don't frantically try to sign someone unless you're a new club with loads of money or a club in turmoil, and there's loads of them at the moment.
I think that was a secret sauce this time. Yeah. That there was people with money and people who needed to spend and people who were really struggling. I mean, I guess that's the product of having a very competitive Premier League. There's a lot of people who needed to buy, and did they?
Yeah.
But first, before all that, Will, we had to sound the bell, or sound the horn, ring the bell, whatever we do when one of our absolutes comes through, because
yeah.
That's right. The vaguest of our absolutes, Frank Lampard managing a club, has come through.
Called it.
I called it. I was thinking you should have called me at the time and said that's too vague. Now I think about it, it's pretty vague to say Frank Lampard will manage a club at the end of the season. You know,
I don't know, because I mean he got sacked from Chelsea for being so shit, and he was bad at Derby. So I mean, it easily could have also been like, he'll never get a job again. And like, yeah, maybe.
I suppose. Well, you know, regardless, that's 1 point for me. But you wisely, Will, at the time, didn't call him on it because we both thought, yeah, that's the kind of... He's too good to...
This game is so convoluted.
Yeah, so you didn't call me, so there's no minus points for you, just 1 point for me. So 1-0 so far on the absolute board. Yeah, we could not have Frank Lampard back in the Premier League. It just had to happen. So yeah, he's with Everton, in case you didn't hear. Did you see the video that Everton released to announce him? The kind of weird... No?
I don't think I did.
Oh, it's weird, man.
I don't think I did.
It's all music, and it's like... And it's like, he's like rubbing his hands together cool. Like this. It's like fixing his collar, and he's literally rolling up his sleeves, to get to work and stuff. And then he does that thing where he's looking down and he looks up in the camera.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I haven't seen that video, but I've seen every other time that video's been done.
yeah. You've seen that video before, just not this iteration of that video. Weird, but I spent a lot of time on Everton's Twitter page recently, and it's full of like awkward interactions between him and the new signings. Interviews, 12-second clips of players saying how happy they are to be at Everton. They're dishing out content big time. Head over to Everton's Twitter page if you want to see some really cringe content. But yeah, I mean, look, Frank Lampard's in, and they've given him some tools. Will
Well, I don't know if I'd even bought. I think one of them was free, one of them was a loan. Both players that clubs were like, somebody take them.
Yeah, the three players that have come in, Dele Alli, Donny van de Beek, and Anwar El Ghazi from Aston Villa. Now, Dele Alli, it's mad to think how his career's gone when you think back to when he kind of first broke onto the scene. I think he's like 30 odd caps for England. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and he was smashing records left and right as well.
He broke. Well, this was the, it was a Sky Sports stat, but it was actually a red flag when I look back at it now. It was like the youngest player to score X amount of goals in the Premier League, and it was like our youngest midfielder to score X amount of goals in the Premier League, and it was like Lampard, Gerrard, and then Dele Alli way out in front, and he had like before they were like 22 or whatever the stat was. It's like, wow, he's amazing. It's like, that's because he doesn't do fuck all else. And that ultimately was the undoing of him when Tottenham were getting no run midfield, and he was like just hanging out the back of I should say that when he was hanging off the back of Harry Kane waiting for the ball to fall to him so he could lash it in. It's like, that's great, and that, like, obviously Lampard was the king of that. That's who scored a lot of his goals, but he did a lot else too. And I mean, I just think until he changes that, you're not going to see. I don't think I ever see. I did a whole rant on this, but number 10s and how that position is gone. You have to do more. Yeah. And Everton now, they bought Dele Alli and Donny van de Beek. Why did they buy them both?
Yeah, it seemed like they were like, we wanted the other, and then they both came through at the same time. We went,
Good news, we got you both. Didn't want both. Didn't need both.
That's going to cause problems. One of them has to sit on the bench now.
Yeah, it's a much junior version of the Ronaldo Bruno Hernandez situation. Like, they're going to be playing in their in each other's spaces. It's not going to work out, I don't think.
And it's either now you bench Dele Alli, who's the player you have permanently, and you're trying to get back in form, or you bench Van de Beek, who's on loan from United, which means United might be like, we're never fucking helping you out ever again. Yeah.
Yeah. And Donny van de Beek obviously is the other one to see how his career's gone since he got to United. I mean, again, you think back to him playing for Ajax and playing so well. I was like, oh, he's destined for big things. And now here he is on loan at Everton. Him and Dele Alli fighting for the number 10 spot at Everton. I was like, battle relegation. It's strange how things can go.
Not to like count them out, but they are two players who are like, openly their problem is like, people are like, they just don't want it enough. Like, that's what you always hear. They're the relegation scrap. Yeah.
It's hard to know. There was an awkward clip on Everton's Twitter of when Dele Alli met Frank Lampard, like a very staged. I think you can see Lampard.
They've definitely
stationary,
met before.
And then he starts walking towards him, and Dele Alli comes and like, they're like, "Oh, how are you, man?" And good, man. Like, here's the camera's going. Like this momentous moment when Ali met Lampard. And then I think Frank Lampard tells him to take off his mask. You can't hear him, and it's like just very awkward. It's like at the clip end, like a 10-second clip, very weird. I don't know. That doesn't. And Ghazi, of course, then from Aston Villa, a winger. Get Andrew Townsend some help. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He needs a break. So I guess that's a good move. But I mean, the other two don't really inspire me to think, oh yeah, that's good business. They'll be safe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And for them, I don't think that doesn't seem like a good move. Like,
no, big steps down.
I mean, how many goals do you think Dele Alli will score in the second half of the season?
He'll score one. He'll score one in his debut, and then that'll be it.
That'll be it. One goal. Oh,
I think so. But sure, how many goals has he scored this in the last 2 seasons? Like,
well, that's true. But I mean, I suppose the idea of this being, we're going to get the old Dele Alli back. playing off Calvert-Lewin and scoring goals.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
I
see
can't
either.
see that. No.
I mean, the main thing is, of course, will Frank keep Everton up with these signings?
It'd be interesting to see him. He hasn't really been in this position before where he's like scrapping, or even with a team that's like in trouble at all, because Derby were trying to get promoted. Chelsea were fucking. They spend like 200 million because they're like, this is the year we'll win the league. Frank, you better win the league or else.
Yeah.
So this is a different kind of pressure for him. I can't see this going well.
No. It's like I say, it really doesn't look good for me anyway. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Well, who's going to go down? If they go down, who's going to stay up? You know, will it be the highest spending team in the transfer window?
Yeah,
Newcastle.
I would think they have enough firepower now to maybe come 17th.
I mean, let's have a look through what they bought. I mean, look, overall, this is the money they spent. I mean, I guess Joe Willock was before the takeover.
Yeah.
But he was 30 million. They brought Bruno Guimaraes.
Who, even his name, I saw and I went, oh, he sounds good.
Yeah. Centre mid.
He sounds like a player.
Which also means that another player, Jeff Hendrick, out the door.
Out the door, yeah. He was so close. He nearly had it. All he had to do was just keep his head down, maybe win a league soon.
Well, you know that when he saw that notification on his phone that Newcastle signed Bruno Guimaraes, is he a centre mid? Fuck. And then 10 seconds later, gets a phone call. Yeah. He's on loan to QPR for end of the season, so not great. So look, if Newcastle stay up, it won't be thanks to Jeff Hendrick. Anyways, he'll take no more part in this. His fight is done. You know.
Yeah, he's done enough. Jeff, relax now, Jeff.
Yeah, you brought us this far. Now it's time for Bruno to take over. They bought Kieran Trippier, of course, we discussed before. Matt Target, also from Everton, and a right back. No, from Aston Villa. Sorry, a right back.
Who was really good last year, wasn't he? Wasn't he like?
Yeah, I think he got displaced by Matty Cash a bit.
Right.
Aston Villa. Chris Wood, of course. I think we discussed that as well. The most deadliest signing
Wigan Burnley
there's been. And of course, Big Dan Byrne as well.
Yeah, the monster himself.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is like, that's what you want as a relegation team. You want a tough sounding, anyways, centre mid. Improve the defence, which you have. And like I said, the attack was good already. If you can get Sam Maxton and Wilson playing and you shore up the rest of it, I think they might have enough to stay up now. I think I'll be right. Like,
even Wood coming in, that helps. Yeah. Like, it's less pressure on the boys up front. It's less pressure if fucking Wilson gets injured and stuff. So
yeah, it's amazing what you can do with this money.
It's crazy. See, they spent the most they have in the Premier League history for them. And it's January, the month where everyone's like, it's tough to buy players. They bought like 5.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, remember we were saying before about the conspiracy. There's like, no one sells Newcastle, and then of course, like Graham Potter, like isn't in on the WhatsApp or whatever. Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that. Like he's like the nicest man. He's like, no, we got a good price for Dan Byrne, and I want Dan to be successful. You know, it's like, don't sell to Newcastle. It's like, oh, no one told me. Like Pep screamed on the phone at him.
I don't know if you saw the Lingard stuff with Newcastle, where Newcastle were offering a £10 million 6-month loan, and United turned it down because they wanted a clause included where United get paid another $5 million if Newcastle don't get relegated. So like 15 million for a player for 6 months, that's definitely like, we really don't want you around. If anything we can do to make this harder, we're going to make this harder. And then like Villa and Brighton, they're not going to give a shit. Like, they're not going to be fighting for Champions League in the next year or two.
No. I mean, again, another window goes by. Lingard still on the bench at United.
Did you see what his brother put on Instagram? He put up a picture of Lingard in the West Ham jersey doing the cross thing with Locked Up by Akon playing over it.
Oh my God. That's becoming like, that's going to become a running joke. Like, oh, I still want to go back to West Ham. Like, it's been years.
Yeah,
Jesse.
you're
It's
nearly
not gonna
30,
happen.
pal.
They don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
It's and it's not him. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not like he's out there like, so I want, like, it's just like, it's like, oh, get him back to West Ham, bring him home,
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's too much red tape. Yeah, so I don't know. Look, I called Newcastle. I thought they're not going to get anybody in. They're not going to have the nous in the transfer window to be able to get good players in. But I think they've recruited well, as I say.
They haven't
and,
bought just like silly players. Every signing, been like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Even for their level, it's like, yeah, that's a good signing. That's a good next step up, rather than like, we're signing Neymar.
Yeah, like I thought they would buy Dele Alli.
Yeah.
That's what
And Van de Beek,
I thought. I thought it'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Newcastle have actually done well, and I think it will stand to them.
Yeah, that's also worrying that they're like, it seems like the people running the club know the right transfers, which means when they get like, you have 500 million to spend this summer and now we're a Premier League team not fighting for relegation, I think then it's going to be like, oh fuck. Like, they're going to make such a jump up every single transfer window.
Yeah, 2025 they'll be battling for the league.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's, if like that, like just like even buying Dan Burn, like, it's just such a clever one. Like, they can get him, he will improve it,
and again,
to a degree.
It weakens everyone around them.
It weakens the team around them. It's just like, it's a really, really good, like, it's like, oh, Brighton, like, oh yeah, we're not relegation, and they're like, yeah, not yet, you cunt. What? No, I just thanks for Dan Burn. Like, next year they'll be coming for Brighton with their player.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just like that kind of thinking ahead. It's like, oh shit.
I might become a Newcastle fan. That's going to be a fun few years.
Yeah. And on Dele Alli, came from Tottenham, of course, for zero money, but could go up to 40 million. I think is the reported fee. Reported fee anywhere between 0 and 40 million for Dele Alli.
Roughly in the middle there somewhere.
Which, I mean, that's the only thing you'd say for Everton's thing. That at least if he doesn't play or isn't any good, they won't have to pay as much for him.
Yeah.
And if he is good, then so well, who cares? We do have money to pay.
Exactly.
So. But for Tottenham's point of view, I guess getting rid of the dreaded dead wood, the hard to shake dead wood in your club.
Clear out. They got rid of one player. Oh, two actually. They got rid of Jose Mourinho's least favourite player, Ndombele.
They got rid of Ndombele to Leon, I think, on loan.
Who sold them.
So he'll be back.
So that is excellent business from them. Sell them a player who's great for you. He has an awful time. We'll take him back for free. He's going to be good there.
Yeah. And he's going to go for like a small fee at the end of this season back to Leon. And, he's only 25.
Yeah.
Which is,
And he's good sometimes also, when he's bothered.
Yeah. I mean, you think, Jose Mourinho, you don't know what, he takes his shine, some players, some players he doesn't. But then Conte comes in and it's really like kind of, I don't really see it. It's like, well, maybe he just isn't happy at Spurs. Maybe it's probably best for him to move on or move back to Leon. And of course, Brian Heel as well. Old Gil.
Old Gil, poor old Gil, only there a year, and then they shipped him out.
Yeah, 6 months, isn't it? I think he came in somewhere.
I think he had a really good first game as well. I think he's at Valencia, but his thing is that he's like, good in La Liga, too small for the Premier League. So it's like, you better get big on this loan, or else it's going to be the same thing again.
He's only a chap. He's only 20, so
he's very, very young.
One word for you, Brian, if you're listening: creatine.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Steroids.
Yeah. You won't get caught, believe me. You'd be amazed what you can get away with this age. Amazed. But yeah, they got a few incomings as well. Spurs did. Obviously, Antonio Conte, Italian manager, spent a lot of time in Italy. Former Italian national team manager. But also my peer, sporting director. Sporting.
That's what you call it.
No, that's what they call it in Italy. Sporting director Fabio Paratici. That's the kind of guy you need to bring in Juve fringe players such as Bentancur and Kulusevski,
who I believe, and now I haven't watched much Serie A, but I believe, judging from comments with people with Juventus flares on Reddit, two absolute flops that they can't believe they got rid of for money.
Yeah.
I
Like you
did
say,
see
it's about who you know.
Yeah, the first comment I saw was, "Oh, I didn't realize Paratici is working 2 jobs."
God his ass. Yeah, so like I say, it's always good to get rid of Ed Wood. It gives the whole squad a lift when that fucker leaves, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, thank God.
Thank
Just
God.
not seeing his face around here.
Thank God Brian Healy is gone. We can finally start winning games. But this is the thing. They are at a point now where they are trying to get fourth. So you know, it's not nothing to play for. So it's,
If you're Conte, do you think he's happy with that? Getting rid of Dele Alli and Gale and bringing in 2 lads who I don't think you really need. Like, they still are playing poor Matt Doherty right back, who is not having the best time. They were desperately trying to get rid of him.
yeah, they're trying to get rid of him and trying to get in Adama Traore, who now
Which was
listen,
weird.
it was weird, but I mean, I don't know, was it the sporting director or was it Conte or maybe a combination of both? Identified him as he could be a wing back, a right wing back. That's what we need. They didn't get him, so Matt Doherty lives to have another terrible game for Spurs in the near future.
Did you see why they didn't get Traore in the end? His comments. He said he didn't want to be a right wing back.
Yeah, and that's fair.
So, like, why don't you try sign one of them?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I guess he was coming from, and this I saw this report as well. I don't know how true this is, but I'm going to say anyways that he was offered $100,000 a week at Tottenham, and he's only on $15,000 a week at Barcelona.
Yeah, and I don't think the buy thing is mandatory for Barcelona as well, so they can just ship him back as well. So, but he was still. Well, I suppose you would like. He's Spanish. Do you want to play for Barcelona again? You thought that door was closed.
Yeah, well, you know, all those Masia graduates, they always go back, Will. You know, Fabregas, Jordi Alba, they all go back. I mean, is there a less Barcelona player than Adama Traore out there? I mean, especially with Xavi in charge, if he's trying to bring back the glory days of like the tiki-taka, is there anyone less?
I can think of one other player who I could not imagine going to Barcelona, who did go to Barcelona this window.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, listen, there's been players like Aubameyang at Barcelona. You think of, now, I'm not saying he is at the same level right now, but Henry or Eto'o or Davi. I mean, there's always room for somebody who can score goals with a bit of pace. But like, you're going to play, you know, Adama Traore somewhere in the midfield. Like, he likes to run at players. He likes to dribble.
Yeah.
He likes to miss.
You can't play tiki-taka with Adama Traore.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, he's a good dribbler. He does have skill. I'm not saying he's like without skill, but like his game is like the size of the man, you know, like he's a beast.
Like bombing down the wing and at like a team that's lower down the table, like playing 4-4-2 and just like get at them, keep getting at them. Eventually it'll work.
Like I could see Adama Traore playing as a Dani Alves as a right wing back. You know, so I mean, it doesn't like, it seems like a weird one for everyone involved. It seems like another Barcelona move. Like, why? Why would you buy him?
Well, especially when it came out that they now can't register one of the signings for the Europa League because they signed too many players.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not like the most basic thing of being? There's surely someone's job at the club is to just be like, oh, too many players. Like the rule it says here, we've too many. It's just like, nah, who cares? We'll work it out.
I did see that and I thought maybe just they don't care about, like, they don't care about Europa League really.
Right.
I'm thinking, listen, we'll have these players next year. You know, we need to get them in. Like, you don't have to buy Adama Traore, obviously, as you say. So it's like, we just want to get them in and we want to get a team together again. We're trying to, you know, get the team. So, oh no, we can't win the Europa League. Who gives a fuck? You know, we're Barcelona. It might be arrogance more than incompetence, is what I'm thinking. But it does, it's just, it pains the narrative, you know, that this club doesn't know what they're doing. And like, when you're someone who, like, it's grand for, you know, you want to leave Wolves and you're Spanish and you want to go back to Barcelona. Yeah, of course. But for someone like, you know, say someone just went to Juve from Fiorentina to Juventus, Dusan Vlahovic, you know, someone of that level, you see these stories of, oh, Barcelona don't know how to many players to sign. It doesn't feel you like, oh yeah, that's where I want to go. And that's obviously what Barcelona are trying to get back to. So like, now not that I don't think Barcelona were even in for Vlahovic, but like, it just, that's surely what we're trying to get back to. And this kind of, you know, public kind of faux pas every time they go to sign a player, it just seems like You know,
But like,
not the
remember a few
press.
weeks ago when they were like announced to the world, we're back, we're spending big. I don't think I think Traore is a cheap loan. I think
Yeah,
Aubameyang might have been free.
he was. I mean, I guess we should talk about that as well. I mean, Traore. Oh no, sorry, Aubameyang. He's gone. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't believe he got to Barcelona. I can't believe they looked at the last year and went, he's the guy to turn this around.
to turn this around, to turn this club around, we need that guy in there. I mean, it's just, it's really strange.
He is captain and he wouldn't show up to games on time.
Yeah. And now, this isn't really a great prediction, but we did call this that like it was done. When that story of him having 24 hours to go to another country and come back, that is nonsense. That's, you know, weird stuff going on between him and Arteta. They'd obviously fallen out and they're waiting to. We're speculating maybe Newcastle, maybe somewhere else. Didn't think it'd be Barcelona. Didn't think they'd be the ones to say, "Oh yeah, we'll take him."
Yeah, it does make sense though. We should have thought.
Yeah.
We should always think whenever there's a transfer coming up that seems like a bad idea. Barcelona are probably in for it.
And yeah, the fact that he went in free, that Arsenal just take him. We do not want him in the club anymore. It just shows
They had to pay him 7 million. They paid him 7 million quid to like terminate his contract.
Yeah.
It cost them money, and they're like, "Sounds good to us."
Yeah, it one shows how bad the relationship was with him and Arteta by the end, and also the sway that Arteta, or the relationship that Arteta has with the owners, that they're like, no, if you feel this is the best thing for the club, we're happy to pony up for 7 million to get a player out of the club. I mean,
Again, if I was at Barcelona, whatever about I haven't been watching much Premier League. I just remember Aubameyang's good. But then if I heard Arsenal are paying him 7 million quid to leave, I'd be like, maybe let's pause on this transfer. There might be something up.
yeah. I don't know. It's like I say, he's gone from Arsenal now, and the issue then, of course, that Arsenal didn't get anybody in to replace him. Obviously, you still have the likes of Lacazette there, who is not as problematic in terms of troublemaking and not showing up and just outright disrespecting the captaincy. But in terms of goals scored over the last couple of years, you know, he hasn't been as good. It's funny because Aubameyang was one of those players, like, and this happens sometimes when players have a good couple of months. It's like, oh, you're sleeping on my man Aubameyang. You know, he doesn't get the respect he deserves. He felt one of those players be like, people don't rate him high enough, man. He is so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and he, like, when they signed for Arsenal, it was like, oh shit, that's a really fucking
a coup. Yeah,
a brief period there. I think it was the same window that Sanchez maybe went to United or Ozil left, but there was where they had, or maybe they played together once. I'm not sure, but it was like Aubameyang, Sanchez, and Ozil all at the club at the same time. It's like, Jesus, like this is the kind of thing that Arsenal went wanting for years, to actually have like high profile signings. Like, he was good at Dortmund. He was really, really good at Dortmund.
Yeah, really good. He was really good at Arsenal up until about like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, he scored the 2 goals in the FA Cup final to win it. You know, like, that's like a big game player, scores all the time. It's like, Jesus, this is Arsenal's been crying out for this for so long, and then all of a sudden, it just
the
went,
whole well, it was after the contract. It was give him whatever he wants. What could possibly go wrong? You can give him too much, and then he's like, well, why would I ever care about anything again? I'm set.
I forgot about that, actually, to be honest. The contract, that's what it was. Yeah, he got the contract, and that was it. He just really, he made it. He got what he came for. But you know, is now at 33 years of age, 32, 33 at Barcelona. Now he's going to try again, or is he like, he's not going to pay that much at Barcelona, surely?
No, I think he took a big wage cut. I think it's I think max 100 grand or something like that, which is still good, obviously. But
it's like, say, a strange Arsenal career where it started so brightly, and it was like, oh yeah, this is the guy.
That's how it always goes, though.
Well, in recent years, maybe not, because like say, he was at Dortmund and he was really good. It was like, everyone knew he was good. I was like, a Dortmund player that's good usually goes to Bayern Munich, but because they had Lewandowski, who was every bit as good, they didn't need him. So like, so this isn't like, oh yeah, what's the catch here? It's like, oh, this is a really good player that Arsenal managed to sign above other teams. Yeah, you know, it doesn't, like, say Sanchez and Ozil were kind of wantaways and like not failed, but like they weren't wanted at Real Madrid. You know, where Arsenal broke the record to sign Aubameyang, he was good, and then he came, he was playing well, he was scoring in finals. Like, holy shit! Like, when has that something just happened? You know what I mean? So yeah, to see how it goes now, it's like no one's gonna remember him in 10 years.
No.
He'll be one of those.
You always remember the bad stuff.
He'll be one of those Instagram reels, like players you forgot played for Chelsea. You know, players you forgot played for Arsenal. That's what he'll be there. Like, oh yeah, I remember Aubameyang played. Yeah.
Pub quiz: who scored in the Arsenal FA Cup final?
Oh, was it Giroud? No, he was gone.
It must
gone.
be true.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done a pub quiz, but you know, I get all the jokes of it. You know?
Yeah, I get the idea of how they go.
I get the idea of having friends. You know, I hope to have them someday.
Yeah, it'd be good.
The only other, I guess, high-profile signing, the second highest spenders in the window, Liverpool, with Luis Diaz.
Yeah,
again, he was rumored to go to Spurs, was he? And then
I think the gazumped Spurs, that classic.
Gazumped, the classic gazumping. Is that ever true? Do you think, or is that the agent saying, "Oh, we could be going to Spurs, you could be going to Liverpool. That's if you want us. We're in demand."
There was one. My favorite ever gazumping was when
a new segment.
Yeah,
Top 10 gazumpings, part 1.
United were going to sign Morata and Chelsea were going to sign Lukaku, and then on the day the signings were about to happen, United offered Lukaku more money and got him, and then Chelsea got Morata. But the only reason I know that gazumping is true is because Morata infamously that day came out of his hotel room with dyed red hair on his way to Old Trafford.
No.
Yeah. So the gazumping is definitely real because that guy was all set. So I think he turned up to Chelsea's medical with dyed red hair.
Well, you know that obviously the gazumping is one clue, but you know he has no contact with his agent at all because he would have said, "Don't fucking do that. That's lame."
Yeah.
What age are you now? Like, don't be doing that. But two, like the agent's like, "Oh yeah, you're not going there anymore. I got more money for this. I mean, sorry, we got more money for this." You know, like. Sure.
Now, I wouldn't rule out though that maybe it wasn't a gazumping. Maybe it was a case of United saw he dyed his hair red and went, "Let's pull out the deal."
Deals off. We already have Pogba. We don't need two of them. Yeah, I suppose a quick mention, like I say, Jeff Hendrick to QPR from Newcastle. Another player leaving. This wasn't deadline day now. This was earlier on in the window. Aaron Connolly on loan to Middlesbrough. It's not great to see two Irish lads leaving the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've all seen the pictures of young Cathal Heffernan off to AC Milan.
Yes,
son of
which
Olympian,
is crazy.
That Olympian Walker, his dad, Heffernan, Doug Heffernan, I think it is.
I did see on the day that was happening that Cathal was trending on Twitter, and I thought, oh no, it's happening.
You were like, oh yes, relevance. We can milk this for all it's worth. I did that too, and I was surprised. Like, it's not a well-worn track, the League of Ireland to Serie A, but I mean, fair play.
Yeah, I think that's the second one this window as well. I think someone else has gone to Udinese or something.
Yeah. I forget the name now, but hey, maybe it's I don't know what that is. I don't know how that's happened. Maybe it's related to the short-lived series Football's Next Star. Do you know that? There's a few Irish lads in that.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like the England camp, but I could see player, even if they're ripping it up in Serie A, you won't see them in the Irish team because it's like, but this lad plays for fucking Norwich.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not a case of that.
Give Harry Arter one more chance. See if he can do it at international level.
Yeah.
That tends to be what happens. But big ups to them. Best luck. And what else we have then? I had some other, I guess not really blockbuster signings, just kind of transfers of interest that you won't hear in other podcasts. Not much. Eliquim Mangala, remember him?
I remember Mangala, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was his first name.
Well, I butchered, I'm sure. I think it was spelled wrong in my notes as well. I think I left it on L somewhere. But Yeah, once upon a time, 45 million signing to City, throwing a few loans to Everton, and I think went to Valencia. He was without club at, I think, 30 years of age. He just signed for Saint Etienne. It was only a few years ago. It was only like 6 years ago he was in the Premier League, and now it's like...
He cost 40 million back then.
Yeah. Oh, he was I think he was record signing, I think.
Holy shit. That's the type of deal I would have thought Newcastle were going to do. Just throw money at anybody. Money, any player, who cares?
Another player, a bit of a throwback, much more of a throwback than Mangala. Nani, he's back in Europe.
No way, where?
Venezia. They're a Serie A team based in Venice.
What age is Nani?
A 30-ish. He's younger than Ronaldo, isn't he? A little bit.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I suppose he would be. He's brought in after him.
He came from Orlando FC in the MLS, and he's back to Venezia, who are battling relegation in Serie A. So again, not the kind of man I would have picked for a battle, but
I would have gone for Dan Byrne.
yeah, Venezia should have bought Dan Byrne, guys, not 30-something-year-old Nani. But there you go, he's back. So you never know, it might come into a Europa Conference League near you sometime soon.
Yeah.
Hatim Ben Arfa.
All a veritable who's that?
Yeah. He's come from without club to Lille. So again, you want to watch some French Cup football, you might see Ben Arfa coming on.
You'll
in
know the names.
Minutes.
You'll recognise them from players.
Yeah. And of course, I guess it's probably big news because he's still, well, he's older than Mangala, but Aaron Ramsey from Juve to Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the maddest transfers.
Yeah. That pipeline surely hasn't happened in transfers since like the 80s.
I mean, it's it's not funny, I guess, but I mean, I do think back to people like, Jesus, I can't believe Arsenal let him go on a free, and I'd be tearing my hair out saying, he's fucking shit.
I mean, for 400 grand a week at Juventus as well, I couldn't believe that. He's there years. Could you imagine how desperately they wanted to get rid of him? Like,
yeah, I mean, he's there. 3 years now, 2 years.
That's so much money.
Has it been? And like 400 grand a week. There's no way Rangers are paying that. He's only on loan, by the way. It wasn't a signing. So there's no way that Rangers are paying even half that for Aaron Ramsey.
No, not a chance.
Juve are essentially paying maybe upwards of 250 grand for you to play somewhere else. That's how bad you've been.
Yeah.
And like,
and I mean, you don't go to Rangers or Celtic in the prime of your career, really. If you're like, especially like a former Premier League, that's when it's like time to wind down.
Yeah,
like that's what Roy Keane did. He went and he's like, I'm done with this.
When you could barely walk, he went to Celtic. You know.
Yeah.
Aaron Ramsey, 31, to Rangers. Yeah, it's I don't know. You think of those the end Wenger years, the players that were like meant to bring Arsenal back, and like the more you look now, like those players just like look, Ramsey obviously had good games, but like I just remember seeing him, and now admittedly he was playing alongside Granit Xhaka in the middle. I think maybe Mesut Ozil as well. So not exactly workhorses around him, but just getting cleaned by Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Henderson. Like this is obviously years ago. I was like that. You're just like you're nowhere near them. And he did that thing where he like pretend to track back, where he'd like Baywatch down the pitch, like I'm tracking back, knowing that he was getting known. It's you can't like this is the Dele Alli thing. Just like stand on the edge of the box and score screamers. Like it looks good and they have a great highlight reel, but like that's why he got kicked out of Arsenal. Yeah. Why? Juventus thought, that's who we need. Someone to replace Pogba, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But like, at the end of the day, he hasn't been good enough at Juve. And really, it's like you look back, and it's like he was probably just overhyped, honestly, for most of his career, which is a bit harsh.
But that's the thing with those big Premier League players as well. It's like, no matter how they've been in the Premier League, if you've been playing, because especially at then Arsenal, he was at Arsenal when they were like kind of top four-ish a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think players like that, when they leave, it's like, he has to be good though. Like he must be.
Yeah, he must be. Yeah, he's definitely one of the weak links, the ones stopping going beyond top four. And that's, evidently, because like I know he hasn't played a lot and he's had the injuries, and we all remember obviously the Stoke incident, but like I don't know, it's weird to see him going at range, and like the unveiling is so like, oh yeah, I'm here. It's like he knows himself.
No keepy ups in a full stadium.
No need for that.
There was one more transfer. Christian Eriksen is back in the Premier League. He's gone to Brentford.
How could I forget? Obviously not eligible to play with the defibrillator in Serie A. He was training with Ajax's second team, I saw.
Yeah.
And now he's back amongst his Danish brothers in Brentford. Danish coach, of course. In what's
Thomas
his name?
Frank.
Thomas Frank. Let me be Thomas Frank and curse you out in an interview. Did we play that clip last episode? I don't think we did.
I actually don't think we did. I think we forgot.
Hey, let's play it now.
Unbelievable proud of my team. I think we are the smallest club in Premier League. Manchester United probably the biggest. I think the way we played first half, I think we destroyed them. We should have been up at least 2-0. They didn't have a sniff, nothing. We created 5-6 chances and 3 huge chances. So of course we need to take it. There can only be, from my point of view, I know in the end, and you need to score on your chances. There can only be one winner of this game. A maximum draw. They deserved Man United. I think they're unbelievable lucky. And of course you need to take your chances, and I know all that crap. But the performance, I'm proud of that. We are leading 2-0. They changed their system against Little Brentford. Yeah, one of those nice. It's football. De Gea, or fair play to him. Very good performance, of course.
I mean, the game opened up.
But the game opened up, and they hadn't had a chance before their goal. And of course, I know that's why they pay 72 million for Sancho. That was not even including in the team.
Game opened up. Game opened up.
Yeah, there you go, folks. A clip from an interview from a game that I don't think we covered. I think last episode we were talking about the 2 different United games at once.
We were mixed together. I noticed that as well. Yeah, but we were never wrong though.
And so there's a clip about what we were talking about. So if you remember back, lads, if you don't, go back now.
Cast your minds back.
Pause this episode, go back, listen to the entire last episode, and then come back to this episode now. And now that clip will make sense. Oh, another belter, Will. We've done it again. So he's signed the Danish wizard himself, Christian Eriksen. And there's 6 other Danish players at Brentford. Did you know that?
I knew there was a lot because that was their like tactic, was to buy up the best players in the Danish league when they were in the championship.
Yeah,
which is a good move because it's like a league that probably not many people are following. Clubs aren't really keeping an eye on, but it's definitely a high level league. If there's Europa League clubs like. So. Yeah.
So he's been brought back to Little Denmark in West London, and. Listen, it's a nice little story, We've buried the hatch with the Danes, haven't we, Will?
Yeah, we like the Danes now. They gave it a good go at the Euros.
No, I wouldn't say I like the Danes. I'd say we're civil.
He's not forgiven that easily.
I respect them, but that 5-1, man. I mean, the things they said about us, so hurtful and true. Oh, I don't know. I suppose the only other thing, I guess, while I am here in Greece, a bit of a respite for myself. We've had some bad results. I mean, it's I don't know what to do, Will. I mean, I've made a lot of changes since I've been here over in Greece. I was working as a sporting director for Atramitos.
Could you imagine listening to this podcast for the first time?
I feel like when I do listen to it, it is like the first time every time. It's that fresh, it's that new, it's always different, always amazing. There's
definitely a listener. There's definitely listeners out there who think you're flying it over there in Greece. 100%.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Well, let's take a step back. Let's take a big step back and explain what I'm talking about. Yeah. So. Bandwagon Wheel is a segment we have on the show here where we pick a country at random and then we spin a wheel also at random, and that wheel gives us out a team from that country's top flight, and we support that team for that season, and that's why it's called the bandwagon wheel. So very self-explanatory, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
That's what self-explanatory means when you think about it, isn't it? That's not a very conscious.
It's it's obvious when you really put your brain to it.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. So we picked Greece and we spun the wheel and we landed on the Athens outfit, Atromitos. I guess kind of like the Brentford of the Greek league in a way. A small Athens team. No, I don't think. Oh, an Athens team? You mean AEK Athens? No, not them. No. The other guys.
No. Yeah, the other ones.
And of course, as we're covering it, they were listening to the show. They got in contact with me, and long story short, I'm now the sporting director of Atromitos, in charge of many things. I think one of the big things is culture. Will. Just trying to get a good culture, and that's why I got Chris Coleman. I didn't get Chris in for his football acumen. I got him for the feel good factor. You know.
And this is the thing as well. Like, people might think it's a bit, or that they didn't contact us. Do you think Atromitos in Greece would have hired Chris Coleman without Cahill's input? I don't think so.
Come on, think about it. Put two and two together.
Come on. I mean, I doubt he speaks the language.
Oh, I tell you what. Well, I speak more than he does. You know, he's not even trying. He says he doesn't care. Yeah. And that's why I'm more involved. I'm trying to every morning I hand out the coffee and cigarette for breakfast that we all have, and we're still losing. I know. I'm the mood, the vibrations have turned ugly. In that Atromitos. So this the initial kind of new manager bounce didn't last long, especially with that first game we lost. But we've had it.
It didn't last at all.
No. But we've had a game postponed against who is this? Lamia.
You're in the league, Cathal. Why is it postponed?
Well, this is the thing. I was getting to that. I don't know why. I'm assuming COVID. But no one's told me. And Chris hasn't answered his phone. He says he doesn't like what I said about him on the podcast. But truth hurts, Chris.
Yeah, get over it.
Win some games. Listen, the walls are closing on me. The walls are closing on you too, pal. So I mean, yeah. So look, the game's off this week. Time is TBD. So to be decided, postponed. There's no news on it. No one reports on Atromitos bar us.
Except for we are the premier Atromitos news station.
So that's all the news we have really, this episode of Bandwagon Wheel, because nothing has happened and I don't know what's going on.
Like a true sporting director would.
Yeah, like many sporting directors over the years, I think that's probably reflective of how they operate. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I could definitely see an Ed Woodward type being like, having a clue what's going on.
Yeah. I suppose final thing. Any music, Will? No? Any
This pod is falling off a cliff.
Well, we had a good run there with the bits of music. I
saw none, because there wasn't any really funny stories this week.
Yeah, I guess it was a good week to do a bit of a transfer kind of round, because there hasn't been any games. But we're still in, again, I think a few weeks ago we were like, we're in the longest fantasy football week ever. That's just...
I saw that. I still have... And it's worse as well, because I had Dennis captain for the 2 games. He got a red card in the first game. Now I have to wait 2 weeks for him to miss the second game. It's bullshit.
It's just staring at you now, yeah. That's the thing. I mean, we're still in this game week. So I don't know. So we're still in this game week. I mean, for all you fantasy football fans out there, I don't know where this is going, Will. And one transfer, I think, just to finish on this, I suppose, Will. Don't worry, folks, it's almost over. You can, for those of you with the gun to your head listening to this podcast, don't worry. For those of you with torture chambers in Afghanistan, don't worry, folks.
Yeah. Don't worry. The next episode will be on soon.
Yeah. Coming up. Would that be the worst thing ever if we found out that people use our podcast to torture people?
2 more listeners, at least.
Yeah. You know what? That's where I go and look at it. More downloads.
I can't take any more bandwagon.
Oh,
I don't care about Ireland. Where is he? Tell us now, we'll turn it up.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
Game opened up. But
Nonsense. Talking nonsense. Why should we accept somebody talking nonsense? Like, what would you say? Just why are you talking nonsense about us? Why are you talking rubbish?